Part 5 in a series of videos about content search and intelligence using Azure Cognitive Search. Now, in this video, we'll demonstrate the power of Azure Cognitive Search to create relationships between entities. Now, during the indexing phase, as you remember, the platform has extracted entity names and key phrases, etc., which can be used as metadata. Now, we will look at how we can leverage this information to understand the relationship between identified entities. Now, for this demonstration, we did not have enough of content to build the graphing display, and we thought we'd use something which was available, which Microsoft has provided as a demonstration. So they built this very, very interesting um, uh, archive on the JFK files. So I'm actually going to leverage the JFK files as your search demo, which is available online. If anybody else would also like to view those files, it's quite interesting. So um, we will demonstrate. We'll use the JFK files in order to demonstrate the power of how you can create entity relationships using Azure Cognitive Search. Now, one thing I would like to mention is that these documents are from the 60s and 70s, so they are all scanned copies of the original documents and not electronic files. And I think that really makes this demonstration all the more interesting. So let me first start by going to the JFK Files website. As you can see, it's over here, jfkfiles2.azurewebsites.net, and searching for the term Castro. Now, you can see it comes up with a bunch of documents with the word Castro on them. And if I click on a particular document, um, it's already highlighted where the word Castro is. And this, as you can see, is a typewritten letter. So let me just click on it. And here you can see it's got the word Castro. It's identified it in an image. And it's also given you the text version of the image on the right. Now, if we would like to see the entity relationship with the search term, we can click on this icon over here, which actually loads the graphing data for us. And here we can see, okay, we've got the word Castro, it's Bundy, the Bay of Pigs invasion, Fidel Castro. Um, and also it's interesting because we see the names Sheffield Edwards, Sheffield Colonel Edwards, Richard Bissell, Edwards, an intermediary, and there seems to be some kind of relationship between these people, the Bay of Pigs and Castro. Not really sure what it is, but I do remember the Bay of Pigs had something to do with the mafia. So if maybe we search for the term mafia, um, and it generates the data for us, and okay, so this is interesting because it seems to have some kind of a CIA intermediary, and there's Richard Bissell again, and Colonel Edwards. So there seems to be some kind of a relationship which we can investigate further. If I click on Richard Bissell, it's actually added the words Mafia, Edwards, and Richard Bissell in there for me, and it's performing a search on those words. So you can see it's returned all these documents, which is a really easy way for people to search information and data. Um, Now, maybe I would like to search for the main perpetrator of the crime, which was Harvey Lee Oswald. So if we go to Oswald, and once again, you can see that there's a whole bunch, there's a relationship between Harvey Lee Oswald and Sylvia Duran, Alvarado, and uh, quite a few other people. There's Jack Ruby as well, and Dallas. Now, if I go back out here, if you notice, it actually found an image of Harvey Lee Oswald uh, as part of the search terms. Now, there's also a handwritten note, which is even quite interesting. So it's, let me click on this to demonstrate. So as you can see, it's a handwritten note, which the Azure Cognitive Service has actually transcribed something that's handwritten into a machine readable format, into text. So you can see out here, if you just by hovering over the original, you can see original signed statement of Sylvia Duran, interrogation uh, by somebody. The kid's not picked that up very well, but generally, it's quite amazing that the machine could actually do something like that. So that's something that's really quite powerful. So you can just perform a handwriting analysis and then translate it into typed text for previous documents that you might have within your repository. Now, the other interesting aspect of the Azure Cognitive Search is its ability to create a custom cryptonym skill. Now you can actually create a custom cryptonym skill. Now, when you say cryptonym is like a matching word, you have a synonym and an antonym. A cryptonym could be something whereby it's a cryptic name for somebody. The skill actually understands the code name for Oswald was GP Flow, which if you actually hover over here, GP Flow, you can see uh, it's actually linked that information and it provides you information about the term GP flow. Now, being able to do that is you can actually link something which Azure calls the Azure Entity Linking Intelligence Service, where you can link the data about those entities available in an external knowledge base to the terms that you find in there. So I could link anything with GP flow, and it would then look up the database and tell me what GP flow is about. In some instances, you could also link it to um, for example, a Wikipedia entry about a particular term. So using the Azure Entity Linking Intelligence Service, that's the capability is available over there as well. Now, there is a lot more that you can do with this functionality, and I would do a quick demonstration. Now, this was basically around the knowledge space, and if you want to find out information in documents. Now, Microsoft has also indexed dozens of medical journals, and I'm going to just go to uh, the Azure Search WebMed search demo. So it's indexed a whole bunch of medical journals out there. It's got all this data. So let me start by searching for a disease known as Stevens. As you can see, I've got a type ahead function in there, and I go to Steven Johnson syndrome. Now, this is a rare disease, and it already comes up with a whole bunch of information. If I'd like to explore the relationship, I just click on that part, and it's now giving me the anatomical concepts. I can move this around to see what it is, and I can see there's Stevens. I actually wanted Stevens Johnson syndrome, so I click on that, and it upgrades it for me. It tells me what's the anatomical concepts behind that. Um, and if I need, I can also filter that or onto possibly the authors, whoever's written articles on this particular topic. I could also look at medication concepts in regards to Stevens Johnson, um, and it tells me once again the different medication concepts that have been used, what are the signs and symptoms as well. If I click on signs and symptoms, okay, you can see probably a symptom adverse reaction to a drug administration, occupation activities. It could be an immune response, an autoimmune reaction. And um, once I get that information, so probably I want to check a combination of these two terms, Stephen Johnson syndrome and mental association, and it picks up all journals where the two are related. Clicking back on document search, yeah, it's found a whole bunch of these other documents for me. Um, now, um, and it's filtered these results. Um, Microsoft has done a lot of stuff in the Azure Cognitive Services space, and it's quite commendable because I could build most of this stuff without having any knowledge of data engineering or data science. So now there's a lot more that can be done with Azure Cognitive Services and Search, and what I have demonstrated out here is just basic information to give people a better idea of what's available now. Microsoft is working on some really great machine learning APIs. And another new feature which they're coming out with shortly is the knowledge store that, as of the day of this recording, is still in preview. But the knowledge store is really great as it provides the AI enrichments during indexing. So, and then you can use that for downstream knowledge mining in your other apps. So that's it from me, and I do hope you enjoyed these videos and found them informative. If you did, please do let me know. Thanks so much, and hopefully I'll see you soon. Bye.